We look amazing, by the way.
You look amazing.
Even in the middle of the day, like grimy, still look amazing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm fine.
Ready?
My hat's all crooked.
Ready?
There we go. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Are you ready? Unscripted!
Oh my gosh! Hi, Gisele.
Hi, Andy.
Podcast day.
Podcast day.
Afternoon.
Still here in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine.
You are in a much better mood.
I'm in a much better mood today.
I don't know if you were in a bad mood
Hey,
last
I'm not
week.
as tired as I was last time. Like, I'd been working a gazillion hours last time.
Yes, you had.
I had come off vacation, yet I had come right back into working, like a 15-hour day, then a 12-hour day.
Oh.
It was like, I was exhausted. But that's okay. Today's better. And I wisely drank espresso about 40 minutes ago. Because, you know, it takes a little bit of time to hit your system. So I was like, I'm going to take this almost an hour before I leave. And
it's like medicine.
It is. It's my happy juice. It's my happy juice. And so, yeah, I took that right before
Wherever could you find
podcasting.
Really good espresso?
Because I was like, why am I going to the podcast tired? Like, what excuse do I have
None.
when I literally am
None.
working in my coffee shop right now?
Right.
So I was like, let's do it.
And Andy just always has so much energy.
So much energy. He's just high on life.
I always feel like I'm pretty even, like as far as how much energy I bring. So every once in a while, I'm like low.
And honestly, I've been talking business like half the day and real estate and stuff, and like I get juiced up talking. Like I love talking about business and stuff. As much as I'm like, it's so hard. Like, don't anybody do it. But like literally, I start talking about it and I get all like,
because it's awesome.
It's
like I don't take drugs.
It's almost like its own drug.
Yeah, I don't take drugs.
For me, starting a business is kind of a drug.
Yeah. It's what I imagine.
Drugs might be like?
Right, because like after you've been in it for a while, you know, it wears on you apparently.
Right.
It really damages your system.
Right. Dude, drugs and business.
Yeah.
they're like
right.
parallels.
It's not that different. So.
But do business, not drugs, kids.
Right. But kids, here's the lesson. Unscripted, the podcast where you learn not to do drugs.
Don't do drugs and do
and business will ruin your life.
And ruin your body. And ruin your soul.
But
eventually.
do it instead of drugs.
You know what? It's great. Do it.
It's great. It'll make you feel
We're not
high.
Bipolar, people. I think.
Not at all. Not at all. I think that everybody that owns a business has this bipolar thing going on.
It's like an independence insanity.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I choose to be insane, lose my ever-loving mind, and work for pennies, and because freedom, people.
Because freedom. Because there's nothing better.
I won't take it from the man.
That's how much I don't want to work for somebody.
How much I don't want to work for somebody else.
I will ruin my life for the business.
I know, and I was having, after working so hard, you know, the past month and stuff, and I was having those moments. I was like, this isn't worth it. Like, I can just get a job. I should just get a job.
Yeah,
and every business owner has these moments, and my boyfriend, he likes to call Indeed.com his like porn. Because he's like, what would it be like to just get a job? Because then he goes on there and pretends he's going to apply for a
hours
job.
on end. I could do that.
He's like, look how much money I could make if I just got a job.
I could work in a factory and make a livable wage.
And then the independence insanity hits, and he's like, no, why would I do that? I don't want money that bad.
You think about the fact that I've got to work for somebody who's going to be insane like I am running a business. So there,
you've seen behind the curtain, right?
You're like, no.
You can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I know what they're going through.
Right, they're going to be
They
insane.
could show up postal one day and take me out. At least if it's just me.
No offense against any postal workers.
At all.
But it happens to be a phrase for a reason.
Hey, luckily I did not say postman.
Right.
I said
maybe that's what I could do. I could
worker.
go work for the post office.
They actually have an amazing retirement package.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But you gotta walk your little. You would love walking your little legs off, though.
I would.
You would be down for that job.
I would run from box to box.
You'd have the fastest route.
I started at 7. I got it all done. Got all my boxes.
But then you have to live with the idea that the man you're working for is actually the government. That sounds depressing.
I know.
Yeah.
The man has a name.
The man has
Sam.
a name. Sam.
Uncle Sam. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how we just jumped into that. How did we start? Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't
We
even
run
matter.
businesses and
We
we
run
suck.
businesses.
We suck at. Is that what it-
We just try to suck less every day. I
Yes.
think we podcasted
Oh,
something
yeah,
about
suck
that,
less.
didn't we?
Yeah,
Suck less.
suck a little less.
Suck a little less every day.
Do a little more.
What were we talking about? You stopped in for coffee yesterday. And what did we say? I was like, ooh, we should talk about that on the podcast. Do you
I don't
remember
know.
what that was?
Yeah, I don't even remember.
Dang it. I was hoping you would remember. Yeah, I don't have a clue what it was, but we were like, that would be such a good topic to discuss.
It was probably
Why
it was
didn't
probably
we write
amazing.
It was probably
You know why?
actually useful for people to listen to.
You know why? Because we didn't script it.
'Cause we don't script it.
Right.
And I was thinking that too.
This
I
is
was like, we should
unscripted.
talk about it, but then
Where
we
all the
script
great
it
ideas that we have during the week never get written down.
and never get talked about to you.
That's it. That is our podcast. I'm so glad that you're here and
Oh my
listening to
gosh.
us. If you are still, welcome.
Yeah.
So glad that you're
Yeah.
here.
I'm having to table
Or
some
still
things
here.
right now because family, we have some
Oh,
family
yeah.
that are getting elderly, and it's reached a point where we have to start taking some measures to go take care of them. And we're talking, we're in Pennsylvania, me and
Mhm.
my folks and stuff, and they're in Tennessee. So I've been traveling down. I talk
Yeah.
about grandma a lot
Oh,
on
yeah.
the show, and so I've been
Grandma
traveling a
said
lot,
this.
and I'm like, I can't get, like, at some point, I'm gonna have to sell this business, like, if my folks don't go down. And it's a lot, right? And I'm
Yeah.
in a new relationship and stuff, and so I'm like, that should not be my
It's
responsibility.
not quite
So
as new.
it's more lighting a fire under my dad, it's his mom and stuff, and it's like, come on, pops, like, you've got to take over. So anyway, we're working towards that end to get my folks down there, and so it's just an upheaval. It's not just and family is so important.
Yes.
And we were talking about that last time.
This was
and
last podcast.
yeah, we were talking about how important it is. So had to make some choices this week
Mhm.
about like putting some things in business on hold for a
Choi-
second, not forever.
Choices for other people.
Choices for other people. And in order to make,
Yeah.
take care of my family and stuff,
Mhm.
we have to make some hard choices. And
Oh.
so, I'm such a driven person, and I'm goal oriented, like starting the new business. That's my drug. And like, I'm always like, I want to get to the next thing, the new thing. And I've been working this year towards a few things. And so, as it's almost like I just stabbed myself for a few nights. I was literally in kind of a depression for a few days about like, I just need to table some of the growth prospects that I have, with the cafe and stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's gonna be okay, Gisele. Like, calm down. Like, literally, I'm just like, first, nobody holds me to any timeline but me.
Right.
And I can do things
Right.
when I want to do things. And just because it's not gonna happen today doesn't mean
Right.
it's not gonna happen tomorrow.
Mhm.
And it's one of those like, listen to the universe, So I have actually tried to step into a couple of the things
Yeah.
I wanted to move into
Yeah.
since like March.
Yeah.
Right? Through March through April. I've
Mhm.
had meetings with people and tried to get a couple of things initiated, and I have hit a brick wall. None of my accord. It's
Mhm.
just what these other people are like, oh, I can't take this on. I know I said I could, but now I can't.
Yeah.
That happened several times.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you're like,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden this family thing
Yeah.
kind of comes to terms like,
Mhm.
okay, now we have to deal with this family, and it deals with a lot of inheritance and stuff like that. And so it's like, we need to protect ourselves. We need to protect our families and make sure we're prepared for when the worst thing happens and we lose our loved ones. And no worries. Like, they've had great lives. They're older, but still, we want their care to be great in their last years, and we want to make sure
Give them
everything
best life.
moves on to the family appropriately and stuff. So a lot of things to take care of, and it's just one of those like not really a pivot moments. It's like a pause moment. I'm in that. I don't like pausing. I don't like doing.
You don't like pause.
I don't.
Pause
like
is not like if you had back in the day we had the tape recorder and then it had that pause button.
the pause button.
But the pause button was like a big deal because it was like click. Like
Click.
it was like it wasn't, you didn't just tap a little thing
Yeah, it
on a
wasn't a
screen. It was like a
click.
and everything stopped.
Like you thought you were gonna break your tape every time you hit it. Like, I hope it stays
I love
together.
those. Remember the little tiny tape recorders, the little ones with
Yes.
the buttons on the front? They didn't have the little extendable
Click,
handles so
click,
you could
click.
hang it up.
But yeah, I have to pause, and so it's taken a few days because I got to absorb that. Just because it sounds like, oh well, I'll just put that on the back burner. No, it's like it's hard for me because that's what keeps me wanting to get up every morning is the thought of doing something more, something else, and so.
And
but it's okay, and I'm like giving myself kind of an idea of a timeline in my head. Like, we'll pick this back up in 4 months, like at the beginning of next year. I will pick back everything. Let's get this part of everyone's lives because everybody has to sacrifice and
Right.
everybody's got to do something major.
And it is something that is really important to you.
It's
It's just
still
not the
very
goal you were
important.
working on.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
an extremely important, high value thing to
Right.
you. It's just shifting.
Yeah.
Shifting from one focus to another takes energy and effort and time, and like it takes effort to pause something. You don't just stop it.
Correct.
Like you don't just.
Especially stuff in
shift.
business because
Yeah.
in 4 or 6 months, a lot of things can change.
Yes.
And so like where you're sourcing and who you're partnering with, it's going to change. So I'm trying to like not feel deflated about that. But I do love and care about my family enough that it's super important for me to do that. So I'm trying to find positive ways to reinforce this new perspective. Right? I'm like, Gisele, look at all the positives.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get to just like rest for a minute more and do more of the things you enjoy doing. Like just spend time with my boyfriend and go spend more time with my horse and like just work your job for a minute.
You've done the right things in your
I've done
business,
a lot of groundwork.
and you have the right people that when you step away from it, things can still operate.
Correct. Yeah. So I can help my parents
trusting
move down
the system
and make
that
this
you've
shift.
built.
And so those are those weird insanity positives from owning a business that I can do this and I don't have to worry and ask like, can I take 2 weeks vacation? Like I don't have to worry about things like that. And I'm like, I confidently get to just help my parents make this transition and make the transition for the elderlies and and eventually, I'll get back to it.
So here's the thing that comes to mind is the idea of awareness. So you were talking about like, okay, stuff like kind of hitting a brick wall with a couple of things, and then this other issue comes up.
Yeah.
And if you are driven beyond what is healthy, you have a tendency not to be aware or take signs of when things need to shift. Right.
It's true.
And it's not bad to be driven because that's how you get things done.
Yeah.
But like if you're not aware, so one of the things that I've been doing is we both do yoga.
Yeah.
And if you've ever done meditation,
except when you're all bummed up, but other than that,
right?
One of those things.
It looks like you're just going bowling.
It kind of does, doesn't it? I'm just working out the
metatarsals.
Most people probably don't even know where those are if you're watching the YouTube video right
there. What are the ones in the foot?
I think they're the same name.
Oh, is it metatarsals in both hands and feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It's not petatarsals.
Maybe it is.
It's not.
But that would be cool if it was.
Yeah, because that's your feet. They should have asked me in naming the bones. So like this idea of, if you do meditation, yoga, there's a lot of emphasis on awareness about what is happening, being present in the moment. And by being aware of those signs, being aware of the things around you, you're better to adapt and react to the things that are important if you're trying to do that. If you're trying to be aware. So how about
all week with my baristas? I've been saying to them, namaste. They say something. They say something to me, or they're like, "You won't believe what happened," and I'm like, "Namaste,
namaste,
namaste." And so now they're just repeating it. I was like, because what else are we gonna do? Like we have to accept,
That's awesome.
Find some inner peace, just namaste it, right?
That's namaste that thing.
They are all saying it.
Do you ever say it with a swear word attached to it?
I love it.
I'm gonna namaste that.
Of course I am. Yeah. You know me.
So one of our we're all over the place. I'm going to say that again. I'm all over the place. So one of our properties, rental properties, there's two families from Nepal and Bhutan.
Okay.
And one of the things that they say as a greeting or a hello goodbye is namaste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's they actually use it in their language. Yeah, right. It's actually part of their culture. And I knew that. I was 80% sure.
And namaste means peace. Like peace within, peace to you.
Yeah.
It means a few things.
Yeah, and I think
it's like
somebody
shalom
would be able to
almost.
yes.
It's like shalom.
But and there's a sense of the divine in me recognizes the divine in you.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
We were working out some deal. He was like paying his rent or something, and I surprised him. I put my hands together. I said namaste, and he was like, he just like gave me a stare. He was like namaste, like he was so excited.
I love that.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a fun moment.
And the point of that
Yeah.
is to like bring your mind around to there's something greater than this problem. Like
Yes.
we all have a piece of God in us. And to also like it's that recognizing people like more than what they're doing thing. Like remember there's still a special person inside.
Yeah.
And it's hard to remember that sometimes. But that is kind of the point, is like to bring you back into what's the most
valuable
important thing.
Human being in the center of what's really important in
I
this
am
relationship.
more than not building this business right now.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, namaste.
Right.
Be here, be in the moment, remember.
I'm more than this coffee. I'm more than this.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
So like this idea of awareness, I started to branch out with it. So like, I think it's cool that you mentioned that, because being aware of the things that are happening around us, if we're present in the moment, we're better able to deal with in a healthy way and shift in ways that we need to.
Yeah.
Now, one of the ways I'm applying this, and I'm always trying to bring it back to my race that I'm doing and running. But
we would love to hear about that race, Andy.
Right.
Take it away.
Yeah, and last time I didn't anything.
You should just tell your story.
You made it very clear that maybe that shouldn't be the direction we go with that.
But you know what? Today I'm feeling that vibe. So let's head there.
And this is an example, and I'm not talking about the race, but I'm doing a lot of running. So I've been running 11, 12 miles at a time. And I've had a number of surgeries because I do stupid things.
Right.
So foot surgery, knee surgery.
I meant, no way.
No, what? Really? That's crazy, because you're always doing normal things.
I can't even see that.
Yeah. So I both knees surgery, whatever. So stuff hurts when I run. So I have been applying this to my body.
Stuff hurts when I wake up.
Oh yeah.
Out of bed.
So I'm like a couple miles into this run, and my left knee will start to hurt, and then so I've been like, oh, okay, what hurts? What can I do? So I start like changing my gait and changing my running pattern and feeling, trying to see if I can actually make it stop hurting.
Okay.
And it worked. And then my calf
and it worked?
Yeah, and my calf started tightening, and my Achilles started tightening on my left. It's really my left side hurts a lot.
Yeah.
When I run for whatever reason, and so I started like changing. I was aware of it, and I practiced changing my feet different ways, and it went away. I'm like, this is. So I started to do that. I got all the pain in my body to go away.
Instead of just running through it, like run through the pain.
And then I focused on relaxing. I looked ridiculous. Thank goodness nobody was around watching me, because I'm like flopping around, like jiggly, just trying to get myself to relax while I was running, because I'm going to run 100 miles. I better be relaxed and not use the energy, right? But I was wondering, like, I think that can apply to whatever we're doing, being aware of the situation when you feel the tension or you feel pain in a certain place, like what is going on, to observe
and that's
it.
Exactly what I'm trying not to do is I don't want to run through the pain, right? At this, because taking care of family problems, that's a pain point, for me in growing a business. Yeah. And instead of being like, whatever, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do and figure out how to run this business while trying to figure out how to help take care of my family. Something's going to suffer, and I'm not going to be as organized or successful in trying to create that next level of growth. And also my family probably won't feel like I'm giving attention or helping or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, some things definitely need and require some focus. But like you said, like, I've already stacked my business up that I don't have to focus on it to make it run.
Right.
It's self-sufficient for the most part. And so I think that's a really good point, like a way to pull it into an analogy. That's like, I don't want to run through the pain,
Right. You can observe it, be aware of it, and what can you do to shift what you're doing to help alleviate that?
Exactly.
And because life just keeps going, so that's not going to stop.
Yep.
So how do you live or shift what you're doing so that pain. And I feel like this principle, we had a long time ago, we had a podcast called Wu Wei, which is the effortless action.
It's one of our best listened to ones, actually.
Is it
I don't know
really?
if it's a weird name or something, but it's one of our best listened to
So
podcasts.
that concept comes from a 4th century BCE writing called the Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu, I think is how you say his name.
That was fantastic.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
That was really good.
It's unscripted. That's like the writing or the document that talks about this effortless action, and that the way of they talk about the Tao, that life, when you're living it the way it's supposed to, is easy. It flows. And when we feel the pain points where stuff's not working, and there's usually some sort of tension where we're out of.
There's a reason it's not flowing.
Yeah, right.
Because that's not what you're supposed to be working on at the moment.
And that's what pain does.
Maybe not ever, or maybe just not now. But yeah, and then finding that. And honestly, like this morning, even yesterday, like I just kind of felt like a weight was off my shoulders because that weight's been on me. It's just, and it's really. This ain't easy. Like we're talking like, oh, and then you just decide that, it's not easy. Like it took me days of being upset about this because it's just frustrating. You're like, and I'm not mad at my family. I'm certainly not mad at my elderly family for getting elderly. You know what I mean? But it's just like, man, I put so much work into doing this. And
Grandma, why did you get so old?
Some people are expecting me to like be submitting things for, and I was like, you know what? But it doesn't matter because everybody understands life is what it is, and we got to take care of business and got to take care of family, and so just once I accepted it, it was like. I feel better about this now. And once really my parents are on board, like my mom's like she's more the driven one too, so she's going to help drive this forward. And she's like, you're right. Like I went down and they need our help because I'm like, it's time. This is go time, know.
And once your dad knows what to do, then he's on it.
My dad has very strong women in his life, and he's used to us taking the reins on everything.
But just tell me what to do, and he works like crazy.
Me.
Yeah, he works really hard.
On his own, he might not get around to something, but when he's with me, I'm like, dude, let's do it. Yeah. And my motivation drives him. Yeah. He needs to be a part of something in order to make it happen. And so Mom and I are just taking the reins on this. The
man would work constully.
Yeah. Absolutely for me. He'll kill himself working for me. Yeah. But on his own, it's just like, I don't have to go in today. So
there's something beautiful about that.
My dad's a great employee, is what I'm saying.
So that's awesome. Yeah. Sometimes the man is the woman.
But knowing that I have like my mom working towards this end and we're moving forward. I feel more at peace, like, okay, so this is going to get resolved because it's really, and I was very upset because I hate seeing, my older family members struggling at all, and I'm upset, like, it's 12, 13 hours away. I can't just run down there and be there for them all the time, and that's really stressful. So I'm very glad we're all going to start working towards the same goal, get them down there to help them. And
the weight is lighter when you don't have to carry it all yourself.
And even just knowing that, like, I feel more at peace, like, it's fine. You're just going to work in the coffee shop for the next 4 months and just do your thing, get the baking done. Because Mom's going to have to start moving, and I'm going to take over all of that, right? Yeah. So, and I can. I've got time because I'm not doing strongman jobs anymore. So it's like, I got the time. This is the moment. It's actually going to work out. And looking at it, kind of objectively, it's like, oh, like, this is the right timing for this family transition to happen. I'm in a good place. I've got a great support system now, and so
Yeah.
Speaking so I'm feeling better about that.
Speaking of the cleaning business, you don't have anymore.
Right. Speaking of that, what?
Well, there was one of the accounts they wanted the outside of the windows cleaned because they were getting, and we live by the lake, right? And I absolutely, I'll do that, and I went over there to do it, and of course, like they're by the road, so the dirt and everything's on the outside. I was doing it, but the other thing that's on the outside of the building, if you live by the lake, are spiders.
Ooh, so many spiders.
Like
I know which account you're talking about.
Yeah, folks, you don't even know. You don't like. I don't
spiders.
know if you've ever dealt with spiders like in large quantities. But
it's
it's
creepy.
like
it's creepy.
And all different sizes, from barely ones you can see, which also creep me out.
Right.
Like I hate
They almost
spiders.
creep me more because it's like
You don't
they
know
can
where they
crawl
are.
anywhere,
Right.
into anything.
So I got one of the mops with the extended handle,
Yeah.
and the mop at the end, and I was like getting the spiders, and they're coming down, and they're like, oh, and I just
no.
felt like, I was sweaty.
The
so
mass exodus of spiders.
and I just felt like I was. This is sort of random. I
Did you
give
them a hardcore like namaste?
Yeah, I was sending them all to spider
He's like,
eternity.
Namaste!
Nama's death to you. And like just felt like all the rest of the day, because spider webs were like on me. I just felt covered in spiders, and I've been creeped out ever since.
That is the creepiest feeling.
And at one point, like I freaked out and I ripped my shirt off, like out in the parking lot, like by 12th Street, which was a scene. Who's the crazy person in front of Howard? So, anyways,
I love that.
I don't know why I told that story, but because it's unscripted, because I can say whatever the crap I want to say.
Say whatever you want to say.
So
it doesn't have to fit in or make sense or anything.
no,
So yeah.
Being aware of the creepy spiders that are. All right, I'm over it.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
namaste.
Namago.
Namaste. Namago.
Namago now.
Namago. We're gonna have. We're gonna make it mean whatever. We have Nama's death. I don't even know. What are we doing?
What are we doing? I don't know.
But I think the key, like the lesson that I'm getting from you, is being aware of what's happening, like being present in the moment, and being able to respond to things, and being okay with
Being okay with it, yeah.
That's what life.
Yeah.
That's what life is right now. I think a lot of people don't live in reality.
Right. And I'm trying to tell myself, like, be content. Be content with where I'm at, and it's not bad to be driven, but it's not right to run through the pain,
Yeah.
So I'm just repeating to myself, other than namaste, I'm like, just contentment, be content. And remember what you do, because I'm like I was getting angry, like, I don't want to be in the kitchen baking because I could be building this business. And everything that you read about business is to be working on your business and not in your business. Well, you know what? They don't put every single life factor that's going to be thrown at you inside of those business books, FYI.
Right.
So here's the outside the book
Right.
lesson.
Right.
Is like, no, right now, the best thing for me to do is work in my business and on my family.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm going to just remember to be content in that moment. And so, like, the last couple days, I've been working in the kitchen, and, like, I'm like, I love making cookies. Remember why you love making cookies. Like, instead of being angry about it, I'm like, you know what? If I got to do this for the next 4 months, I'm going to do it the way I want. I'm going to make the flavors I want. And and just remember there's a lot of fun in what I started, and it was so much fun when I did start.
Yes.
And I'm just like, take it back a few years, Gisele. Remember when you first got this, and you were like, all I want to do is be in this kitchen and create and bake, and it's so fun.
Because some
Because
people,
it was new.
some people really love what they do.
Yes.
But then fail because they don't know how to. They don't get the business part of it correct, right?
Yeah.
So that's why people are like, we got to work on the business.
Yeah.
You can't just be in the business.
And I enjoy the doing.
Right.
I definitely enjoy the doing, but as being more motivated for successful financial growth, you got to work on a business to keep it growing.
Right.
And so
But if you're working on the business,
framing this as if I'm taking a step back, I'm not taking a step back. I'm just pausing for a second.
Yeah.
So that I can continue moving forward.
And you can get to do the things that you do.
I actually enjoy doing them.
And just, if you've worked on it enough, you get to work in it and be happy with how it's going.
It comes back to that, like, people love a challenge, especially people like us. We want to be challenged at things. That's why we keep doing, run races and stuff that are seemingly impossible, but they do it anyway. We're the kind of people, and business people are, we really like a challenge. And so when you're just doing what seems mundane, it's like, well, this isn't a challenge anymore.
Right.
And so I was like, yesterday, Mom and I was like, you know what? we're changing this cookie because it could be better. I believe it can be better, and I think we can make a better recipe.
And
So,
this
like,
is what I have control of right
This is what
now.
I have control of. And guess what?
I
We
will
made a better
control you.
cookie. It turned out bomb.com. And I was like, see, this is what I can do. I can take what I have to work on and
Wait,
just make it
What
better.
did you
Bomb.com. 1997. You're welcome.
That's awesome. I don't know that I've ever heard that before.
What?
I am totally using
It was the whole .com
I
rage.
know.
And we were like, because, you know, back in the
Bomb.com.
90s, it was like, that's a bomb. And then it was like, bomb.com. Take it over. You know what? The 90s
I'm running with that.
fashion is back. Why
Oh
not
my
the
gosh,
slang?
That's so great. Oh. Well, where are the pain points right now in your life? What can you do?
Expected, unexpected.
Yeah. What can you do to relieve the pain that you're experiencing that's going to be helpful?
Yeah, what can you keep
yeah.
controlling about it? What can you
what-
not control about
Doesn't
it?
have to be a
And then
big
you have
shift.
to work exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking like major pivots.
You don't have to
but
take a big shift.
maybe it's a pause. Maybe it's
Yes.
not a movement at all. It's just holding on
A
for a
big
second.
1988 pause button. Click.
Click.
Well,
Well, Andy,
you're awesome.
namaste.
Namaste. This might be.
It might be.
It might be the title of this podcast.
You know what? People will probably look for the title. Namaste.
I hope everything works out with your family.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to. We're going to
Yeah.
be good.
Awesome.
We're strong.
Go,
We're a
Grandma.
strong family. Be strong, Grandma.
Was it Uncle Joe? No.
Yeah. It's Uncle Joe and Grandma. Like,
Oh.
they're just, you know,
Yeah.
both getting to that age where they're like, okay, family, you can come help now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the kind of people that they're so independent, you know,
Mhm.
strong
They don't
farm
wanna
kids.
Stop. Yeah.
And so it's been hard for us to even help
Yeah.
because they're like, no, we're good.
Get out of the
we're
way.
good, we're
I'm driving
good.
the tractor.
I'm like, okay, you're not good anymore. Like, you need my help.
Step aside.
And they're
Grandma.
finally at the point, it took like 84 and
Yeah.
90, but they're finally where they're like, yeah,
All
you know
right.
what? Thank you for the help. We need the
Yeah.
help. That's great.
I'll help. You can help with this 50-pound bag of potatoes.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh
Well,
my God.
All right. Well, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody.
Till next time, find your inner peace, people.
Namaste.
Peace out.